All right, Mr. Leroux, we've had a nice little layoff here. Time to get started, and the big news is that Kristaps Porzingis will not be starting. He's coming off the bench.
Yeah, and I mean, considering it felt a little bit nebulous, like the idea that he wasn't 100%, like the timing, it always seemed a little bit delayed, and so if that's the amount of minutes he should play, but it's good that he will be on the floor though.
Yeah, I I don't love it. I mean, I'm not. I think it doesn't augur well for his. I guess they just maybe they want to get him out there with like some bench groups at first, but I think I would rather honestly put him out there with the full protection of that other starting five and let him kind of ease into things and play the way that they're going to need to play with that group. Because if you have Hauser out there or Pritchard or something, that's going to change things a little bit. I mean, they've been going well with Horford. So hopefully it's more about not wanting to quote unquote mess up their continuity. But like they need him to do something, I think, to win the series. Like they could win it without him being a major factor, but it makes it a lot tougher. So because I mean, like, does this mean that he wouldn't be in the closing lineup? Like they need him in the closing lineup.
They do. Sorry, just a sec. I'm squaring up all my windows.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, no changes from what we'd expect for the Dallas Mavericks there, and then for the Celtics, as you mentioned, no change for them. We just thought there was going to be a change.
Yeah, and maybe the Porzingis thing is he's on a minutes limit, so they want to not have him sit for too long and still be able to close halves. We'll see. I mean, if he gets out there and he looks good, then I feel better about that. But maybe he just scrimmaged and he didn't look that great as Brown able to dig that out, and Boston will have the first possession. And it is Doncic on Holiday as anticipated. Irving on White. They're going to go into a pick and roll against PJ Washington. White finding Tatum. Jones is on him into the corner. Horford blows by Gafford, and that's just not good enough from Daniel Gafford. And I think his time is going to be severely cut as the series goes on for exactly the reason you just saw right there.
Exactly. This is a much better Derek Lively series than it is a Daniel Gafford series.
So they go right to Gafford with indeed Tatum guarding him. And there, of course, is Derek Jones hitting that three-pointer. He is consistently produced throughout the playoffs to keep teams honest. Now it's Holiday. He's just going to fire right back against Doncic, and that's not good enough from Doncic. Doncic is going to have to guard, and it's not going to be station to station, set a screen, get him involved. He's going to have to guard an actual player as his primary matchup. Now it's Braun guarding Doncic, no double team. Doncic feeling him out, backing to his spot, tries to go up over him, got his hand down, and scores.
And how Luka's jump shot looks, how his drive game looks will be key here. And Jaylen Brown is a good primary defender for Doncic.
Yeah, but he was not able to get a hand up on that one. That is a very makeable look by Luka Doncic. And certainly nothing is more demoralizing for a team when the primary guy that you're putting on him can't even guard him in isolation. Brown can't get it. Oh, Tatum got the rebound over 3 Mavericks, leading to this from White. White started off the playoffs
that's a
really hot. Yeah,
that's
just lost it.
And that I thought Kyrie Irving there, he could have contested. Like he was too far from Derek White for no particular reason on that last play.
Yeah, Luka wants to grab it to start the break, but he hits it out of bounds. Unforced error there. Tied at 5 here, almost 2 minutes in. They get it to Horford in the corner, guarded by Gafford. And that's one of the things about Boston is you can't put your center on somebody else because everyone can shoot even better than the center. Here's Brown getting to his spot, picked up by Washington, passed a little low for White, and he can't cash out, but another offensive rebound. Brown is all day from up top. That misses. White and the Celtics quite out hustling the Mavs here early. That's got to not be good for Jason Kidd. Here's Horford. Pass fake, gets himself open, missed it, and finally a rebound for Dallas, and Doncic is hit in the head.
By looked like that was Jason Tatum, and the off arm of Jason Tatum could be a story in this series.
Yeah, he just gets him right in the face. Just a silly foul there. And Tatum probably doesn't get enough credit for the way he's just guarded the center without complaint as a superstar. Now they switch Horford onto Doncic. First time we've seen this. And Doncic left it short, but there's the inside position by Gafford off the switch. Braun couldn't get back in front of him. So that's, of course, another way that you can beat that defense. Tatum off the screen now. Drop coverage. Reach in by Washington led to a fumble by Tatum, and now the Mavs have it in transition. Washington across the lane, and Horford did not react at all defensively in a help situation.
And he should have. Derek White can do a better job slowing PJ Washington down, but Kyle Horford should have responded.
Yeah, this is where the Boston Celtics are pretty good in transition. They like those hit-ahead passes to Brown, and then Brown can either drive it, and if you stop in, you collapse, he could kick it out for a three. And now Doncic loses it, and this will be all day showtime for Brown.
Very, very up-tempo start. I mean, the possession count's going to be crazy in part because of all those offensive rebounds.
Irving has not really had an attack yet, interestingly. Now he moves off the ball against Holiday, getting to his spot against Horford, and Horford defended him beautifully. He lets the official scorekeeper know he got a little piece of that one. Now Holiday on the blow by on Gafford sets up Brown. Brown on the drive underneath Holiday, easy layup.
And Luka, I think, could have reacted better there, seeing that the pass was there, and just take a step in to even deflect the pass, much less get in front of Holiday.
Lively headed to the table. We haven't really had much of a stoppage yet. The fatigue is setting in. Here's Luka. Horford switching on to him. Luka stepping back, decent contest, and he missed it off the heel. So they're going to stick, I think, with Horford guarding him. He's 0 for 2 in that circumstance. Now it's Gafford guarding Tatum, and Tatum's going to back it out here. Mavs trying to load it up. Tatum on the attack, gets into the lane, kicks it out. Horford, wide open corner three, rebounded by Jones. Celtics are getting a lot of wide open shots right now. There's Irving against White. He goes to a tough fadeaway going right, and he rims it in. Yeah, fatigue is definitely setting in here. 4.5 minutes with only one stoppage. Tatum getting past Doncic, kicks it out nicely, deflected by Washington, and then Irving comes up behind Brown and a loose ball foul, and that I don't think will be clear fast because the ball was loose.
Yeah, I don't think it will be either. But good hustle there from Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean that is an impossible shot right there. Like Horford gets a hand on it. White is just absolutely in his grill.
It got tipped. It got tipped on the way up.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous shot. And here is Porzingis coming in after only 5 minutes gone by, replacing Horford. So they'll get at least a couple of minutes here with their preferred starting group. Tatum is on Lively. Here's Irving. Irving got wide open against the drop of Porzingis. And that's an interesting idea to run stuff through Lively and then use Porzingis as man as a screener off ball. Here's Porzingis. Couldn't get a hand on it and will stay here, though. And so maybe this is part of the thinking, too, is they are more concerned about going against Lively, and so that's why they wanted to bring Porzingis in at this time. That might be part of it, too.
It's a fascinating question. I mean, we'll get more insight on how minutes are matched later on.
I didn't realize I had my head on backwards.
Nate Danny, can you please explain why the mellow rule was implemented? I'm assuming, Nate, that was a shorthand you used for the extend and trade rules. That's the thing.
Yeah. So in 2011, what was known as the melodrama, Carmelo Anthony got traded from Denver to the Knicks, and he wanted to get all of his money that he could have got as a free agent. So he gets traded there, and then he's just immediately able to extend for a massive deal. This is in the 2005 CBA.
Yeah.
And so then, because of that, to prevent guys from steering their destination and getting their money, they eviscerated the extensions quite a bit anyway, but then they really did it where you could only get essentially a 2-year extension and you couldn't get much of a raise, only 105% within 6 months of getting traded. So that's the Melo rule, and then they loosened that in the current CBA.
But they loosened it by allowing for more extensions to be tradable earlier. The general concept does still exist. Super
Yeah, go ahead.
super early thoughts on the matchups. Well, I will say that the assignments are what you and I expected. Tatum guarding center, Kyrie on White, and so on and so forth. And I mean, the comfort that for me, the comfort that the Celtics have had putting Horford on Luka, we've already seen it twice. That's telling. That was something I wasn't sure about, though the Celtics' general philosophy made that a likely starting point, at least.
What makes Lively more viable than Gafford in this series? Well, he just has generally been better, but it's his switchability, comfort guarding on the perimeter would be number one.
Yes, you can play different schemes with him, and Boston doesn't attack rim protectors in the same way. So Derek Lively, or so Derek Lively's kind of the comparative strengths and weaknesses of Gafford and Lively tilt more Lively's direction than Gafford's. Better redemption stories than a reinvented Kyrie. I mean, I personally think there are a lot of them. I mean, Kyrie had been a really good player before he was in Boston and everything else. And the like for me, a redemption story, like I personally in this series, I think of Dante Exum as a better redemption story, where a guy who was a
Or yeah,
draft
or
bust,
Jones Jr.
yeah, draft bust, had to go overseas to find himself and has come back and has been a valued player, even if he hasn't been as important in these playoffs. Like that's my favorite kind of story where somebody,
Because most of Irving's foibles were self-inflicted.
yes,
Yeah,
and self-inflicted by like choices rather than like
yeah.
twists of fate or anything like that. So like for me, I mean, the archetype on this might even be somebody like Sean Livingston, where it's like talented player, deals with real adversity, finds his way out of that, and is a valued player who's meaningfully different. It's even kind of a version of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey.
So Boston 3 of 3 at the rim, and every other shot that they've taken, a total of 8, have been from downtown. They've only made 2 of them, but I think pretty much every single one of them is a look I would be very happy with. Here's Braun getting right past Washington, goes right through him. And that PJ Washington just was never in position. He kind of went for the steal, was on the back of Braun, and Braun took advantage.
Are the Celtics fingers tied over all these missed threes? I don't think so. In the early part of a game, you focus on the quality of shot rather than whether they're going in or out because you have such a larger overall time to for the other part to resolve. And so I think that you're not worried. You're happy you're getting good shots more than you're worried they're not going in.
Yeah, so we'll see. I haven't really concentrated that much on how Porzingis is moving. Also, just like his overall activity level can be an indicator. And so they're putting him on PJ Washington here early. Tatum switching on to Doncic. And now they want to involve Porzingis. Going to sort of a 1-4-5 concept. Doncic going into the lane, and that's an unbelievable finish. Around 3 Celtics, he just hangs and hits it. And that's interesting, though. They brought Porzingis up to the level there against Doncic, and Doncic was able to beat him out in space. Now they've actually got Doncic switching onto Porzingis, Tatum working on Lively. I don't love this matchup. That's actually the right pass. That was beautiful execution. I take it back from Tatum to because you do one of two things. You either drive into the paint, regardless of whether you can score and try to kick out, or you get off the ball with their rim protector on you. Here's Jones Jr. going to his left, missed that one off the side. The Celtics will continue to challenge those guys to hit shots throughout the series. Here's Holiday working at his pace out to White, who fires immediately, and that's 2 in a row for him.
Big shots. And Dallas, they got back in transition, but they didn't really all the way figure out their assignments. They kind of all grouped around Drew for a minute.
Yeah, White is probably the best shooter they faced. Doncic almost went into the back of Tatum for a foul. Porzingis forcing the miss underneath by Washington.
And getting back up for that rebound. That looked, I'm happy he had a little burst on that.
Well, and also, yeah, so they are switching with Lively. They're going to try Porzingis in the post against his old buddy Doncic. Porzingis, tough shot, and he's been hit on the arm. Doncic, again, he's been susceptible to that against Gobert of just having his arm forward and making contact.
And so this
Like
crew,
that, yeah.
this crew, Zach Zarba, Josh Tiven, Courtney Kirkland.
So White, to me, Danny, is the best shooter that they have faced so far, just in terms of the speed of his release. and how high it is, how quick his shot prep is, maybe even more so than Joe. And of course, White is not a defensive liability the way that Isaiah Joe was. But like the way that the Celtics are just bombing without any hesitation at all against this Mavericks defense is very encouraging so far.
Yeah. So far, 10 3-point attempts and 3 2-point attempts for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, but I also think they've cut their attacks have come off a nice place, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't been just like pulling up off the dribble from three. Like they're getting penetration and kicking out. So Hardy is in now, and Hauser will match him. There's Brown. They're going to go at Porzingis and pick and roll again. Porzingis dropping off. Brown has got to get back there faster. Doncic steps back and scores. That time, Brown, I don't know if he thought they were late switching, but that can't be what the scheme is there. Now they're getting Lively switched out. The very first thing they do every possession. Porzingis, they're got boxes and elbows, and Porzingis just shoots over his man that time. I think they're okay with that shot, though, Dal. He's going to need to make a lot of those before they change up.
Yeah, relative to what you'd have to change to concede something different.
Doncic working on Hauser. Hauser, great defense. Second turnover off the dribble by Doncic. Here's Porzingis. Has Hauser on his right. Now it's White cutting down the lane. Tatum, good steal by Hardy. Saved by Brown, but it goes right to Lively.
They should push here. The Celtics have a guy behind the action.
Here's Washington going into Porzingis. No, sir. Tatum now picked up by Washington. And a foul. Little chuck there by Washington.
I think that's
That'll be 2 second. On him.
Yeah, that is PJ Washington's second foul.
And that is an interesting battleground, too, here. Washington has not been able to score on Porzingis. He had one time as a roll man. Yeah, Hardy maybe got hit in the face there a little bit, but Porzingis got open. Porzingis up top, screen for Tatum. Now they switch Lively onto him. Porzingis is open. They get it to him. Wide open three. Miscommunication by Dallas, and they're lucky to survive it.
And you could see, like, Porzingis' release point is going to be a problem for the Mavs because you can't late contest it in the same way.
I actually think Luka could go at White maybe even more than Hauser. Missed that one. Luka's been very aggressive early. Porzingis got hit in the face, but he got away with one of those earlier. Here's White picked up by Kleber, who's just come on. Brown trying to work on Luka. Gets into the lane. Kick out? No. Kicked it out to a fan.
I like Jaylen Brown attacking Luka in an ISO. I think that's something you can get fouls on and potentially advantages. Just didn't work there.
Yeah, I mean, he had someone open. He just didn't execute. Now they're going at Porzingis again. He's on Josh Green even more than Kleber. They kick it back. Rotation? No, they don't rotate to him. Oof. And yeah, I mean, the Celtics got to be loving that shot. They can't be loving this shot, but Doncic continuing to miss right now. Here's Tatum. He's gotten right by with that hesitation dribble. Can't finish it, though. That should have been a pass. He had two guys on him. Here's Hardy going to try Brown. Not a good decision. Tipped out by Kleber, but it hits the baseline.
And one thing that I'm noticing a lot is that Boston's getting a lot of dribble penetration early. Like they're getting by their guy drawing help. And that makes sense. They have a lot of good players. They have a lot of players who can handle the ball and can create challenges for opposing defenses.
Hauser a better matchup against Luka than White? I'm not sure about that, to be clear. I kind of interrupted myself there before I had a chance to finish my thought. But, I think Hauser just has more size and Luka just kills small guys. Like White just isn't as tall. We'll see, though. I could be wrong. Porzingis getting bothered by Lively. Now they cut. They've got Tatum underneath. Porzingis going to blow by Lively and finish with the dunk. That was quite spry for him. But the thing to look at again there is zero help once the first guy gets beaten. Like Dallas just cannot maintain that defensive shell. Here's another great rim protection play by Porzingis. They have not been able to get him out of there either defensively. Porzingis back to White. Now it's Porzingis guarded by Green. Let's see if they bring some help here. Porzingis working, just shoots over him and scores again. That time it looks like
Kristaps Porzingis has been the best player on the floor since he checked in.
Yeah, it's been massive. And I mean, he's got to be what, like plus 13 or something like that?
He's +9, but very good.
Yeah, and again, like if these guys could just avoid getting hit or in the face of the balls, maybe they could defend him a little better in the post.
I don't know. That might be part of the appeal.
Can't believe my Wizards didn't get anything material for him in the trade. They did get Tyus Jones.
Well, so
but
there's another part of it, which is
Yeah.
that Kristaps Porzingis had a player option. Like he had the viable threat that I can leave you with nothing.
Well, there was talk Utah was in on him.
Sure.
as
So
well,
like he had a credible threat, and so it's more akin, though not directly akin, to like the circumstance years ago where Denver tried to play hardball with Andre Iguodala, and he's like, and the Warriors ended up making a separate trade so that they could sign him outright. But the idea is that when a player has a pathway to do something else to be not with you, then you can't squeeze as tightly.
And also they didn't need Kristaps Porzingis on the team anymore. And like frankly, Porzingis didn't have like that great of a market. Like it's pretty insane to me. Ultimately, I think there are a lot of teams that probably should have gone harder for him, should have offered him more.
Yeah.
How did Boston get 2 picks? Including that, it was basically the smart trade was on its own, and then they just folded the Porzingis thing into that.
Yeah, like I think
that wasn't really part of it.
Like I think it's completely possible that the Memphis Grizzlies did not know about the Wizards part of the trade when they were negotiating with Boston. I don't know, or maybe they found out super late. And so yeah, it was basically the negotiations. It was we're getting this for Smart, and then they were going to do the salary, and then they just rerouted some of the players to make the other thing happen.
Is it fair for tall players to get called for inadvertent elbow fouls in smaller guards when that's just a normal height difference? It depends. I mean, inadvertent doesn't mean that you didn't commit a foul, but I think if you're going into like a normal shooting motion,
yeah, like I always refer to it as the JJ Barea thing, where basically because like there were circumstances where guys were posting up and like leaning in a normal position, but it was hitting him in the shoulder, neck, or head, and that to me isn't fair. If you're in your normal action, the player being smaller shouldn't be a detriment to the taller player. But if you like extend or anything like that, and it happens to hit a more delicate part of the body, well, then that's a different thing. Do you think the Nets front office is making a mistake by seemingly refusing to trade Mikal Bridges? It's hard to know. Like, I wish I knew at least one exact offer that were out there. This reminds me a lot of the OG and Anunoby stuff, where it's like, oh, this team offered X stuff, but you always think that it's a little bit speculative. But if it's like a top 5 pick and 2 others or something like that, well, then yeah, they're holding too tightly. And I mean, I love Mikal Bridges. I think he's one of the better contracts in the league, and I think Bridges, he's better served on a team with stronger surrounding talent than the Nets have. But I think it's entirely possible that the Nets go into 2025 and even leave the 2025 offseason without a better player than Mikal Bridges on the roster, and then it's disappointing.
Yeah, and while I was critical of Minnesota for not exploring the Rudy Gobert on someone other than the center aspect, the problem was they also had Karl-Anthony Towns or Naz Reid out there. And so it's not like they could switch at the other 4 positions. That's a big part of what Boston can do too. So Pritchard is in now without Doncic. Hardy going to try Holiday, lucky to get it back and even luckier to bank it in. But again, the Dallas offensive process has been noted in the comments, just has not been very good. Just a lot of one-on-one and not even going one-on-one against great matchups like that one. Tatum has Porzingis. He's going to fire over Gafford, and he does make it. That's about as bad as a shot as you can take in that situation, but he is capable of making that. But I'd like to see him blow by Daniel Gafford.
Or get a screen from a smaller guy and force Gafford to navigate it.
Now it's Holiday on Irving, who's been extremely quiet. They switch Hauser onto him. Holiday is lurking. Irving stepping back at the side of the backboard. Ahead to Pritchard, who's good in transition. Here's Porzingis. Oh, yeah! From way out, and this Boston transition attack has also been a problem. Here's Irving. He's blocked by Porzingis in the drop coverage. Here comes Holiday. He's got Pritchard on his left. Doesn't look that way. Instead, Hauser is going to take an impossible shot for the corner, and he knocks it down.
It's hard to imagine this beginning going any better than it for the Boston Celtics.
Porzingis has been dominant.
23-5 run.
Now Irving switched on to by Pritchard. Hardy is going to fire with Holiday helping off of him. Another miss. Kleba can't get it. Pritchard digs it out of there. Kleba trying to pressure up full court against him. I don't know why he's doing that. I guess just to prevent the 2-for-1, which he's done. All right. I'll give him credit there. Porzingis looking a little gassed right now. They get it to him. Tatum and Porzingis pick and roll. Now he's going to back out of there. Tatum has Kyrie on him, but he's late clock. Tatum getting around him, but Irving took it away from behind. 13 to work with. And Green tried to dunk on Porzingis, and that was foolish, especially now because the Celtics have time here. Pritchard's going to fire it. Missed it. Do they still have time to get it up? Holiday? Thought he got fouled. Didn't. But that'll do it for a 17-point advantage here in Boston's first quarter. 37-20. And as we noted, Kristaps Porzingis, that went as good as it possibly could have for him. So, yeah, I think he might be in the closing lineup after all, Danny.
I mean, we'll see if they even need one in this game. The Dallas Mavericks shot chart, I think, is really telling so far. 3 shots in the restricted area. They have made all 3 of those. 8 shots in the upper paint, 2 of 8. 2 of 5 for mid-range, 2 of 7 above the break, 0 for 1 corner 3. So if you compare that to what Dallas has done for most of the playoffs, not a lot around the basket, only 1 corner 3, and so that means it's 2-point jump shots and some above the break threes, which have been better contested. That is not a healthy shot diet for Dallas.
Well, and they gave up 15 3-point attempts, and I would say all but 2 of them were extremely good looks. And Boston 7 of 15. They won't shoot it quite that well throughout the course of the series, but I'm more concerned, honestly, about Dallas's offense. Now, Doncic starting to go crazy. It could alleviate a lot of that, but they haven't. I mean, they got Porzingis out in space a couple of times, and it didn't look great. But the fact that they can switch everything else, like Doncic hasn't just completely killed some of their weaker guys that he's gotten switched onto. They've hit a couple against Porzingis, but Porzingis has gotten a couple as well defensively. And then, you've got possessions ending in like Jaden Hardy free throw line jumpers and Josh Green lasering a floater off the front rim.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of that. From Joffrey, what are some historic best game ones and finals? The one I think of, in part because I was there, was 2015, where it went to overtime. Like the rest of that series went off the rails in part because of Kyrie's injury that occurred during that game. But that was a super fun game.
Yeah, I guess game ones in finals history.
Young Paul Walker brought up Iverson in 2001. Yeah, the step over game was.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was really good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many. This wasn't a classic game in terms of how close it was, but Jordan had the 35 in the first half and the 6 threes in game 1 in 1982 against the Blazers. There was the Memorial Day Massacre in a series that the Lakers eventually won in 1985, where the Celtics just completely destroyed them at home after they had beaten them the previous year. And everyone was like, all right, here we go again. Lakers have never beaten the Celtics. And that kind of set the stage for them winning 4 of the next 5 and taking that series pretty easily. Oh, yeah, game 1 in 2018. That was a great game, too. It's always tough. Yeah, the J.R. Smith blunder, that was game 1. It is always tough, though, when it's a great game 1 and then the rest of the series sucked.
Which has happened. Or, like, there's some fun, you brought up the Memorial Day Massacre. Like, there's some fun, anomalous game ones.
But, yeah, the Iverson one is really good, too. The first game that the Lakers lost in those playoffs. So, Dallas got some work to do here. And interesting, they're going with Pritchard as the primary matchup on Irving right now. And Luka remains on the bench. Oh, wait, now we're going to be... Okay, I was going to say. No, Luka is back in, excuse me. So they like to start the second quarter with him and Irving, and now Horford tries to deny Irving. Irving late clock here though. Brown kind of in his lap. He's going to drive it, left hand floater. No, Horford is held up pretty well defensively. Like they're as good as Kyrie Irving is. They are not going to beat the Boston Celtics with that shot unless their defense improves in a crazy way from what we've seen in this first game or first half, excuse me. Now Irving switched on to by Hauser, but Holiday is waiting in his lap again. Irving attacks, left-handed floater. That's good. That's a pretty decent look there.
Did Drew Holiday just cleanse by guarding someone that someone was already guarding?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, no, it just looked funny.
There's Holiday guarded by Jones. This is the non-Tatum group for Boston. Brown, Pritchard, he's just going to fire it. And he missed that, but he's going to go get his own rebound. And Pritchard is really an excellent rebounder. Holiday, oh, nice play there by P.J. Washington.
And we got asked about what Dallas can improve. One of the elements that hasn't helped them is that Boston has been more active and better getting to loose balls and everything like that. Dallas playing
That's
with,
true. Yeah,
Dallas playing with more energy.
They've really been out-energized in this game. Brown pick and roll at Doncic. See, he slows down there. He should just keep going. And he does score for Gafford anyway. That's a great finish. But, like, there's no reason to even slow down. Just, like, as soon as he switches on you, just keep going until he actually stops you. Now Horford switching on to Luka again. Luka getting to his spot. Double team. Deflection. Goes right to Gafford. And, again, they got a little lucky there. Now Holiday blowing by Washington with the 2 fouls. Hauser, what a no-dip 3 that is.
Whew.
He never even brought it down past his head. And great job by Hauser getting back there, too, after that corner 3, all the way to the other side of the floor. Now Washington trying him. Knocks it backwards. Washington's been awful, so no, it's going to be a foul.
Oh, I thought it was clean early.
Yeah, Hauser doesn't agree with it. I didn't see much there. Watch this. Look at that. He never brings it below his forehead. That is awesome. I've actually been like screwing around in the gym working on that. It's kind of fun to do. It's actually not that hard once you get used to it. It's just that like you've been taught that you have to shoot it a certain way. It's like as long as you have strength to get it there.
It's going to be incredible like 10 to 15 years from now when that's just like one of the standard things that like prospects when we're scouting them in draft film do. It's coming. It's coming in the next 10 years.
Mavs going with a little pressure here. Going after Luka again here with Brown. Crosses over. Right in. Oh, what a dunk on 2 Mavs. Jaylen Brown blowing by Doncic twice. And that was nasty. Here's Irving right back for 3. That's short. Tipped around. No Mavs even in the vicinity after the tip. Horford picked up by Luka. They're going to go right after Luka again. They should. That's what they're going to do. Horford is calling for it. Brown again. Working back on Luka. Steps through. Gets Pritchard open. And that was another good 3, though, as Gafford helped off the strong side corner. Now Irving against Pritchard. Gets into the lane. This is going to be an easy bucket. And no, he missed it. Wow, the Mavs are missing a lot of shots. Tough shots for most guys, but Irving and Doncic, I think, can finish better than they have. And now we're going to get a foul on Irving, who is trying to pressure up against Brown.
And that is the
let's see that dunk again. That was devastating. Between the legs. Who says he can't dribble? He beat 4 Mavs on that play. And Jones, yeah, he's probably got to be there earlier to knock that away from behind than he was.
And I think the athleticism difference overall between the Celtics and the Mavs has been another part of this story.
So Lively in, as is Porzingis. So I think they are maybe trying to match those guys up a little bit. Here's Brown working against Doncic again. Crosses over, breaks his ankles underneath. Holiday corner. Good rotation by the Mavs, and they didn't have enough spacing. Late clock now. Horford's got to get rid of it. It's Pritchard from way out and off the heel. That was very good defense, but part of the problem was the Celtics had too many guys on the baseline, spacing-wise. Jones into the post. Doncic against Pritchard. They like this matchup. Horford going to come double. Doncic beautiful timing there. He saw Horford coming over, and he went right through him as he's moving forward, not in legal guarding position.
And we got asked the question about can you pause playback? So playback does not have pause functionality, but there are two different paths you can do to get there. One is I just posted the YouTube link so you can watch it there. But the other one, which I think is better if you have the capacity for it, is you can use a VPN if you have League Pass, basically to act like you're coming from a different country. And then playback provides the mechanism that you could do everything within one window. So you can watch this, you can listen to us, you don't have to worry about any syncing whatsoever. But so there are two paths, you do whichever one you want.
Doncic missed the free throw. Subs in for the Celtics, Tatum and White. They'll take out Holiday, and I didn't see who the other one was.
Well, Nate, if you want to know that it could be worse, we got a comment saying somebody's watching on TSN in Canada, and they came back 10 seconds into the time after the commercial. So they missed part of the game. So see, it can be worse.
Now White going to come off the Porzingis screen. Good job by Green getting through it, but that was dummy action to set up Tatum going at Luka. Luka, I think, a better matchup against Tatum than he is Braun. Cuts him off. Tatum still works through. Found Porzingis underneath. Good hands by Porzingis, but he blew it. Lively bothered him there.
That was a great catch.
Now it's Luka against the drop of Porzingis. Backs off. Oh, Porzingis was right there, but they're going to get him for the foul, and that is probably a good call there.
Yeah, Porzingis used his back and his butt to get into Lively's kind of jump, and that, as I saw it live, that looked like a foul.
Yeah, Luka, good play there. Actually, he was the one who bothered Porzingis down low.
Yes,
yeah,
that is absolutely a foul.
But he did play that pretty well, though. So now it's Horford and Porzingis. They've got Horford on Lively. So they should probably go into the pick and roll here with Lively. That's what they're going to do. Horford stepping up on Doncic for the switch, but they've got Porzingis still underneath. Doncic goes in. Lively lost it, and he hit the end line. Porzingis did bump him a little bit, but not enough for a foul.
Yeah, and I like the drop-off idea from Doncic there, but he just didn't. Lively didn't have an angle to go up with it.
Yeah, Porzingis is absolutely massive. We never really got a wingspan number on him because he was trying to control his draft process as Tatum. Again, not nearly as good against Luka as Braun has been.
Which is actually that was one of the reasons I picked the Mavs in the series, was I thought Tatum wouldn't have as good of a matchup.
Here's Washington wide open above the break, and man, he just continues to struggle right now. Yeah, Dallas the defense has picked up, but they haven't scored. Porzingis pick and pop against Lively. They switch it. Now White's going to work with Porzingis. Porzingis against Jones. I want him to duck in more. That's too far away. He's going to try to get to his spot and go through his arm and shoot it, and he does score. I mean, that's not a good shot. The Mavs are willing to live with that, I would say. High step up screen here. Horford calls the switch. Luka stepping back. Got a good look that time. Off the heel. White and Porzingis. Sky for the rebound. White will push it up here. He's got Braun on his left. Braun going right at Washington. Washington cut him off nicely. Braun using the footwork, but has to get off the ball. Now they're going to go right back to the Porzingis pick and roll with White, forcing him towards the baseline and then switching. That's a good job of icing it and then forcing the switch so they can't attack that as easily. KP going left again and scores again. He's 4 of 4 on these contested mid-rangers.
I want to see Jaylen Brown going after Josh Green, because we saw Josh Green really struggle in the last series, and it looked like it was going to happen. I mean, not that Boston needs more help on this offensively. I want to tell a little story. You talked about Porzingis' size, and one of my absolute favorite things about going to Summer League, because there's media seating in a lot of different places in Summer League, but one of them is on the floor. And so most of these players I've never seen in person, maybe at the Hoop Summit or maybe at a few other things that I do. And the first time I saw Porzingis, because of course, European player, I hadn't seen him at the Summit. And the first time he walked by, I'm like, oh, he's way bigger than I thought he was. Like the idea of certain guys pop that way and certain guys don't. And he was he's like what, 7'3"?
He is 7'3". Yeah, the difference between 7 foot and 7'3" is pretty fucking big. That is a big. And I was starting to say he didn't want to go to Philly. So we never got kind of the wingspan measurements on him the way we did for Rudy Gobert. So I don't think it's ever actually been out there of exactly what it is. But I mean, I think it's in terms of his standing reach, it's certainly one of the highest in the NBA.
Yeah. Is it close to Wembanyama? I don't think it's quite that, but it's closer than I think the average fan would think. Like Porzingis is just a massive human being.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same because like Wembanyama, I mean, he's probably a better leaper than Porzingis, and yeah, his standing reach is even higher. His wings, I mean, his wingspan is 8 feet. Like that is, I mean, even Rudy Gobert is only 7'9". Like that's another 3 inches off of that.
Yeah, it is a shame. There was another player. Oh, yeah, that's right. Lively didn't participate to do combine measurements last year because I was trying to compare a player to him, and I was like, the
Yeah, I
guys.
think he has a 7'7" wingspan. I think
I think that's what was measured at the summit. Yeah, we never got a Wembanyama wingspan at the combine, but I believe there was one from like a from some sort of
it's
thing.
been reported as 8 feet.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dallas's offense continuing to struggle here, Danny. 7 points in about half a quarter after only 20 in the first. And yeah, they're only 2 of 11 from 3. I haven't felt that their looks are particularly amazing. Porzingis, 15 points, 6 of 8 from the field. He's 4 of 4 on mid-rangers, and he's plus 19. Almost as good as Tatum at plus 21. And Tatum has taken only 3 shots in the contest.
So someone in the comments on YouTube said that Porzingis' wingspan is 7'6" as released by his agent right before the draft.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's still plenty big. It's just not quite the same as Wemby. Have the Mavs shot a corner 3? They have taken 1. I'll see if I can figure out who. Well, it was from the left corner. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Irving and Doncic have both taken them, and neither made them. Maybe that was a 2. Maybe one of those was a 2 if it's not showing up.
It is credited as Kyrie.
Yes, the Luka one, he must have had a toe on the line. He doesn't take many corner 3s. So 6:29 left here for Dallas to get back into it. And I think the easiest thing is just the play better adjustment from Luka and from Kyrie. Like, I don't think they've been like, impossible shots that they've been missing. Doncic looking to post up on Horford, and Horford almost had the steal. Great anticipation by him. They tried to set a little wedge screen for Doncic to post up. And I think actually the Celtics might have even pre-switched that to put Horford on there rather than the smaller player. Back screen for Kyrie. White switches onto him. Now Tatum. So they're going with the 5 out here, Danny. And Jones Jr. going right at Holiday. So this would be the time, I think, when Gafford would normally come back in, and they're going to try and switch everything here on the defensive end with Kleba. Horford, back screen. Now it's Holiday stepping out against Luka off the back rim. Good movement off the ball, though. There's Irving getting space on White. Oh, great defense by Horford there to slough off onto Irving's cut. That was great. Now Luka, they get out of his way. He's going to try Holiday. Holiday cuts him off. Luka going up through the arm. And Luka, rarely will he make the mistake of getting fouled and passing off, but that'll be a foul on Holiday. Holiday not pleased with the call. Let's see it.
Oh, that's a little bit cheap. It hit his right. It hit his right hand, which was just kind of dangling. It wasn't even a reach.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right. Like, where are you supposed to put your arm there? As here's Luka tried to quick shoot Tatum, but he couldn't get it, and he's now limping a little bit. That's not a great sign to see. Luka trying to bother Tatum from behind, but that's just a weird double team for no reason, and then you give up a wide open 3 out of that. What was he doing?
I don't know what the process there was. That was strange.
Oh, and Brown just took it away from Luka again. That's the 3rd time Luka's had his pocket just picked in the first half. Pre-switch there to get White into the action defensively, and they're going to get a moving screen on Kleba. But that is all there because of that nice pre-switch by the Celtics, keeping the big out of the action so White could switch onto it.
Yeah, and that's absolutely in a league like using the motion to try to set the action. Like that's the type of thing the league should be cracking down on to take away one unnecessary offensive advantage.
Tatum back screen for White, then he tries to slip out of there. Here's Holiday, goes for that little fake DHO. White is going to get off the ground and put that down. What a leap. Up to 26 here. Holiday gets over the screen. They don't have to switch it. And then Irving just throws it away. The Mavs are completely unraveling right now.
I'm going to look up their turnover percentage. The Mavericks are turning it over on. Oh, that can't be right. It says 8%. Maybe it's not updated yet.
Now we're seeing some zone from the Mavericks for the first time. See if they can change the rhythm here. Tatum going to fire immediately, and that's always demoralizing. Oh, all right, we're going to change up. We're going to try something new. And they bang a three on you immediately. Now it's Doncic getting past Tatum and goes right to the basket. That time Horford was on the perimeter against Kleba. It didn't help. I think he should help off the strong side, but that was a blow by against Tatum. Holiday gets Kleba on him. Now he sets the shot. He's wide open underneath. Yeah, Tatum saw him, but he just lost it. Holiday did well to throw it off Irving. Again, another play where the Mavs just not quite with it the way that the Celtics are going after loose balls. Green is in. Jones out. And yeah, and the Mavs offense looks a little better now with Kleba at the 5. But also Porzingis is out at the moment. Like they should try to go to that when Porzingis is in. Brown crossing over, good help by Green. And this is going to be Celtics ball. Yeah, went over the head of Horford.
It got tipped, yeah.
27-point lead. And again, Dallas has 11 points in over 8 minutes here. Nice job using his body by Tatum. And he could not get the foul, though.
And that was a nice reaction from Kleba, knowing that it was late clock and getting the block to force the shot clock violation.
Yeah, I think Tatum, like, he didn't go up right away. He was trying to draw a foul. I think you got to just shoot that one. Doncic stepping out against Brown. Going to try him just one-on-one here. Gets into the lane, across the lane, got great separation. Didn't shoot it, though. Goes to the corner. Great closeout by White. Here's Washington moving without the ball. Another miss above the break by Washington. That wasn't even close.
But, like, that was better process from Dallas. They got a good shot there.
Tatum trying to post up his old buddy Irving. Horford moves it to White in the corner. No hesitation, but not close in the end. But Holiday takes it away again. Now, it's going to be a foul, actually. Second foul on Holiday, but neither of which he's agreed with. He's going to take a look at the replay.
And that is the 5th Celtics foul, so Dallas will be shooting free throws.
Yeah, over the backbreaker there from Holiday.
Yeah, so Dallas's turnover rate, by cleaning the glass updated, they're up to 15% now, but they had very few in the first quarter. Yeah, Dallas had 2 turnovers in the first quarter, and now they've had 4, and I think most of those 4 have been live ball.
Yeah, Luka again, like he got great separation against Jaylen Brown, and he threw it to the corner to Josh Green, who ended up not even being open. Couple of misses by PJ Washington, and then they throw it away. That's the first dumb casual turnover by the Celtics. Luka pushing it up against Holiday. Double team by Brown, and he is able to rim it in. And Missoula is going to get a timeout here. He was displeased with that effort off the 2 missed free throws as they just threw it away.
And from Dion, is Boston really this much better than all the West teams? Boston has played exceedingly well so far. You expect a regression to the mean from them. Dallas has not played as well up to their standard, but Boston is a really good team. So is the truth is between the two, but I still think it's advantage Boston. And as somebody who picked Dallas in series, I don't feel great about my prediction right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's more concerning? Which end of the court is more concerning for you if you're the Mavericks?
Offense, because what you need. They don't have the personnel to play 5 out as often as they need to get the shots they've gotten, and they're conceding stuff defensively.
Yeah. I don't think that like the Celtics are just locking down Doncic and Irving. To me, it's more concerning on the defensive end because I don't like I said, I thought the Mavs have like a pretty high floor in this series. That hasn't been true so far, but I think they can play a lot better than they have, particularly the role players. But
Oh.
like if Boston is gonna, and I guess the Mavs, like I think their defense in the second quarter has been fine. Obviously the first, but they haven't played much Porzingis in the second quarter either.
No.
So yeah, I think probably on defense because there is a theory of just like, oh, like they're actually not going to be able to guard the Celtics because of the 5-out spacing, and that is proven somewhat true so far. Yeah, Boston can go through these stretches of making every three they take. I mean, they're 10-24. That's not crazy, right? Like that's maybe they've made 2 more than expected, 1 more than expected. So doesn't explain much of a 25-point lead.
Jay asks if we're done here. No, I don't think so. I mean, there's also a lot more to learn. I do not expect Dallas to win this game, but that doesn't mean we're like turning off the broadcast.
Yeah, and also like Dallas, their energy has been terrible. Luka's been terrible on defense. He's gotten his pocket picked 3 times. Like they're just playing like shit right now. Like that's obvious, right? Like they could just be a lot better than this. Like this is not all this. I mean, it is the Celtics in the sense that they're outplaying them, but like Dallas playing better could allow them to reach their level in some of these important responses.
And since we were asked, Dallas cleaning the glass, 78.6 overall offensive rating, 69.4 first shot half court offensive rating. And something that's not helping them, 86 transition offensive rating, whereas Boston's is a light 216.7.
Yeah, Dan wrote today about like the Celtics kind of can't win. They're either going to lose to Dallas or even if they kill them, it's like, oh, Dallas actually wasn't that good. I mean, I disagree with that. I think if they kill Dallas, it's because they were awesome. I think like Dallas to me has proven that they're very good. I mean, they've beaten 3 50-win teams. Yeah. And they have the best player in the series.
To me, the only exception to that would be if Luka is more like gets a new injury, then that would be a different conversation. But Dallas is a good team. And the idea of like regular season stuff, I mean, Dallas wasn't the same team for the whole year.
Celtics going to actually not their closing group. They've got Horford in rather than Holiday. Mavs going to that 5-out group. Oh, Tatum blows by and he dunks it all over Kleber. That was really nice there. Tatum has been pretty decent going at switches when he's attacked, which he did immediately. Like that's his best move is that quick spin move, catching the ball back to goal. Horford again switching on to Luka. Now they go for the screen to get Porzingis into it. They switch Porzingis onto him, interestingly. He wants to get to that right hand, gets into the lane. Horford comes over, and Doncic thought he got a foul, and everyone kind of stopped, and that let Washington get the dunk on Porzingis. Screen away for Tatum coming here with Luka's man, Porzingis. They've actually got Luka guarding Porzingis right now. Porzingis just going to fire it. Oh, yeah. Woo! Yeah, he's kicking ass here this first half. Barely even was in his hands. Irving now switched on to by Horford. He says, I'm forcing him right. Give me some help. They do. Kleber run down by White. Into the lane, Kleber. Wow, great finish.
Nice Boston job there by Kleber. But as Boston, you had a good contest. It was a hard drive by Kleber. You live with that. Ooh.
Brown blowing by Washington, and he's going to get fouled.
Yeah, so Kristaps Porzingis' first half, 18 points in 12 minutes, 7 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 5 of 6 from 2, 2 of 2 from the line, 3 rebounds, plus 22 blocks in 12 minutes.
And they've had a lot of success attacking Luka. I mean, that's not, like Luka Doncic just getting roasted there. but he is the defender. He's not like really trying to get out there. Yeah, he's looking at Luka a little bit, giving him a wink. I think I think that's the direction Luka was in. Braun has a second free throw coming here as Boston leads by 26. Oh, missed them both.
Yeah.
Neither was close. Luka working on Braun. Tatum comes to help. Luka passes out again. He had a shot. Jones on the drive. Porzingis getting out on Irving. White is waiting behind Irving. Boston's done a very good job of overshifting, but not getting beaten. There's Doncic again. Tatum again coming off. And Doncic does score there. But you see where Tatum is coming way off of Kyrie Irving, like into the lane to pick up Doncic there. It's all about keeping Porzingis close to the rim so he doesn't have to step up and then give up the lob.
Why do I
although
feel
they
like
don't have a lot of it.
somehow Jaylen Brown's going to go too late for this 2-for-1?
He already has. They get it to Tatum. Tatum fires it. Missed it. Tipped out. Porzingis. Green has it. No, now it's Irving. Irving trying to find Green instead. Kleba does not want to shoot it. They want to go for the last shot. He gets it into Luka's hands, who's late crossing half court. About a 5-second differential. They want to involve Porzingis again. Doncic getting around Porzingis. Manipulates him, steps back, and drains the three. Boston has another chance here. Tatum is the absolute slowest guy in the world bringing the ball up the floor. He'll try to get past Green. Good defense by Green. And Tatum tried twice to beat Green down the end. So pretty good close to the half there by Dallas. Boston had it 63-37. Brown misses 2 free throws. Tatum misses a couple of tough threes. And Dallas scores 5 points to get it at least respectable here. I use that term loosely. All right, I'll be back in about 13 minutes. All right, let's get to work here for a second half that had the Mavs get slightly back into contact towards the end, but still trailing by a whopping 21 points. What is the biggest thing that they realistically can clean up in the second half to make this a game?
The activity hustle game and just getting to more loose balls, some of those sorts of things that can be a lot better than it was. And I think that improved a little bit in the second quarter, but not dramatically so. What about you?
Yeah, that was what came to mind for me also. And I think Luka and Kyrie just playing better as well. I think the other thing to look at is how much 5-out they did, and how much switching that they did, and what happens to Lively, what happens to Gafford. And
Well,
I
so
think their defense,
okay,
yeah.
how would you? It doesn't actually. We'll probably talk about this on the pod too. If Kleba at the 5 is a larger part of what Dallas wants to do than expected, how does that shift the proportions for Lively and Gafford?
Well, I think Lively, it's basically no Gafford at all. At
Like
that point.
that's kind of where that's closer to where I'd be going. I expect Gafford to begin the second half out there, but you kind of minimize him, and so then if you intend to have Kleba, then I think you need to start Lively eventually. You don't need to do it right now, but you need to start there. Or you need to get there.
So let's see, is Gafford even on the floor to start? He is.
He is.
And of course, Tatum is on him. Horford is starting in place of Porzingis still. Doncic against Tatum. He did blow by Tatum once. He gets a good move on him that time and scores easily. I would continue to explore that. He's gotten 2 blow-bys on Jason Tatum. And particularly when Porzingis is out of the game, if Doncic can get into the paint, he should be able to finish pretty easily. I think he needs to start scoring a little bit more. Tatum into the corner. Well, I mean, that's terrible defense by the Mavericks. Absolutely awful. Like, that's just supposed to be a switch. They don't really switch. They don't know who they're guarding. Like, that's a very basic action. Now Doncic working on Braun. Braun stayed down on the pump fake. Holiday trying to deny Irving. Irving pushes off, gets the ball. Wants to go at Horford and pick and roll. Holiday forcing him away. That's great defense. But Gafford able to get inside off the air ball. Tatum wasn't able to get in front of him. There's Tatum off the Horford screen. Double team. Horford moves it. White going to fire again. And I know he missed that one, but you got to be there to close down Derek White. Like, even the slightest slimmer of daylight, he's shooting that ball. No switch there. They'll try again. They've got Horford actually on Gafford this time. Doncic wants to work into the lane. Gafford sets a little Gortat screen. Doncic missed it. He's now beyond the plate. Looks back at Zach Zarba, but Horford's slow into the action as well. Here's Braun against Jones Jr. Goes for the jab step.
I'd like to see more offensive attempt there from the Celtics.
Yeah, totally agree. There's Irving getting good separation against Holiday for once, and scores in transition. But that all starts because of Jaylen Brown taking a pretty not amazing shot. Like, they could do better than that.
Boston only has 3 points in the quarter so far. 2 points.
Doncic on Tatum. See, Tatum, he just holds the ball for like 4 seconds, then he gets it knocked away. Like, against Luka Doncic, just catch the ball and go. Doncic into the corner. Holiday almost got the steal, but this is bad transition defense by the Celtics. They're luckily bailed out. Gafford working the offensive glass hard. That's what he's going to need to do more of to earn time. So it's back down to 18 at the moment. Mavs on a little bit of a run. Braun against the shell. Can't get much separation. Now Horford up top. Tatum off the Horford screen. Horford pops out. Pass was in front of him, but Horford can't get that mid-ranger taken away by White, but then Irving took it away from him. Irving on the push, going at Holiday, who cuts him off nicely. Irving off the heel, and Gafford went for the flop. Holiday beating Irving in the backcourt, gets to his spot, gets into the corner. White, that's the right pass. White misses, though, and good gang rebounding by the Mavs. Their effort level is picked up here.
And that was good process from the Celtics. I've criticized it on other ones. That was a better possession for them.
Yep. Luka going to his right, stepping back. Wow. Horford got the block on him. Horford's open in the corner. Luka falls down, and we're going to go the other way. That's not good enough from Jaylen Brown. Al Horford is wide open, and he should have just thrown it to him.
And it was funny, if Luka, that could have easily been what I would have wanted as a transition take foul, where it's like you're not making a play on the ball, but Jaylen Brown just ran straight into him.
Yeah, and Horford, he's held up extremely well against Doncic. And yeah, obvious charging foul there by Brown.
Like, I wish that those plays didn't happen, but if that play happens, it's an offensive foul, not a defensive foul.
Holiday trying to bother Irving again. They'll switch White onto him off the screen. Holiday just hanging out in the lane waiting. And Irving just lost it against White. Holiday was helping off of Washington, got in his head a little bit. Here's Holiday pulling up for three, left it well short, but White just went right past PJ Washington. PJ Washington didn't even think about boxing him out. And you got to know that the Celtics are always going to crash like that from the corners.
Yeah, just off his foot.
Yeah, and the reason that happens, though, is Irving looks up and he sees that Holiday is kind of in his path, and he has to slow down a little bit. And then a lot of times when you're trying to slow down, you get your foot into the path of your dribble. Yeah, again, there have been some moments where Boston hasn't looked great offensively, such as the start of the second quarter, but Dallas hasn't been able to score enough to really take advantage, and it's back to 20 here. Irving against Horford, switches onto him.
I like that high screen by Dallas.
Yeah, Irving blows by Horford. Easy score there. Horford raises his hand. I guess he didn't send him the right way, or he gave a blow by. I'm not sure whether that was ski based. And it was Irving almost getting the steal against Holiday. I think the idea, this is what it is. See where Holiday is standing? Holiday is standing there off of Jones Jr. And so Horford, it's not about sending Kyrie one way or the other in the ISO. It's sending him into the help. And they didn't do that. I think that's why he was taking responsibility there. Tatum waves everyone away. He's going to try Lively here. Gets past him into the lane, kicks out, and kicks out of bounds, more accurately.
And I think that's the fifth Jason Tatum turnover of this game so far.
Wow. There's Washington going right in on White, and he scores. And now finally a timeout by Mazzulla with it down to 16. And Boston has only 5 points in the period.
Yeah, 5 points in about 4.5 minutes for them. And some of that is missed shots, but some of it is also their offensive execution has been worse than it was in the first half. But presumably Kristaps Porzingis is going to be in, and if he can make the cavalcade of difficult shots he did in the first half, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and that'll help their defense too.
Sure.
Now, yeah, so they've gone with Lively here. The switching has messed up the Celtics. I think this is easily the best look for the Mavs, and particularly with Lively. And just like somebody's got to get to Jason Tatum and tell him that trying to just hold the ball and go one-on-one against these switches and not go fast just isn't going to work. Like, once we have gotten Derek Lively switched onto the perimeter, we've done our jobs.
Yeah, move and attack.
We have now throw it to whoever Luka's guarding and go at him with Lively switched on to Tatum above the break.
Yeah. It's been such a frustrating thread at times of these playoffs of like the process offensively doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be difficult. You just have to hammer it consistently, and we haven't always seen that. Did Porzingis take too much of a discount by signing that extension with Boston immediately? That is the extension, so it's hard to think of all of those pieces were one pot. They were all one transaction where Boston probably, maybe Brad Stevens still does the trade. I believe he believes in Kristaps Porzingis, but in order for Boston's salary structure and all that, they wanted the security of knowing that he was going to stick around. So maybe they would have handled differently. Now the asset cost for Boston was so low, maybe they would have done it anyway, but it feels like that was all negotiated. And part of why Porzingis taking that discount mattered is because he wanted to go to Boston, and it needed to happen quickly. And so if Boston wanted the extension as a part of the overall negotiation, then it kind of had to go like that. And sacrificing a few million, this is something that Keith Smith and I actually talked about a little bit on Real Jam Radio this past week, of how these conversations are going to go for guys of like the different, or actually Fred Katz and I talked about it too on his pod, the difference between 30 and 35 million is not the same as the difference between 10 and 15.
No, that's a good point. And yeah, I think it was part and parcel getting the extension. I think like Porzingis just like he's been very open that he wanted to be in Boston. He engineered the trade there. Like, and the reason for that was that he wanted to another chance on a winning team. And so I think he, like, yes, he certainly took less. He took less by going to Boston than he. I mean, I presume Utah would have come with a pretty substantial offer if he wanted to go there.
Also, that Utah front court would have been wild when you think about like what it because presumably they would have started Marketing and Porzingis and then had Kessler as the third big. Would have been pretty fun.
Yeah, Markkanen and Porzingis would have been a pretty interesting front court.
And then it would have been even. I mean, I guess they still would have needed wings, but like what the resources that Utah could have brought to bear on their remaining positional needs would have been significant because they still would have had all the picks from all their trades.
I wonder if they would have played Kessler, Porzingis, and Markkanen.
They definitely would have tried it at times. Like Larry Markin, like, oh, I've gone through all these things and I'm playing small forward again.
I don't think he minds playing small forward. All right, let's see what we got here. Tatum switched on to by Lively, and now they move the ball. Back
Still
set.
no Porzingis.
Yeah, good pressure by Jones. Handoff Brown. Looks to turn the corner. White, good closeout by Washington. White has to pull up. Very difficult shot. That was great defense by the Mavs, but still not a ton of movement that time. There was good pressure on Horford to prevent him from making a pass initially. Now Doncic getting to his spot. Easy finish. They better go now here. Doncic is way behind. They're kind of just jogging it up. Yeah, I mean, how do you not get transition there? Tatum was wide open. If they had gone faster, they would have been fine. Now Holiday trying to go through Jones and beats him easily. It's always so interesting, Danny. Like, who can guard whom's? Like we talked about Jaden McDaniels and versus Luka. And Holiday, he's nowhere near as good of an offensive threat as, say, Anthony Edwards. I don't think Anthony Edwards did very well against Jones Jr. at all. But Holiday, especially with the 5-out spacing, he kind of just worked to his spot and used his strength and get a foul on Jones Jr.
It's a great point. And Holiday understanding like exactly what he could do in those circumstances. Like he knows the way to attack and to kind of to push his way into the lane and execute it really well there.
So I think the big story here is that Dallas's defense has really picked up in quarter 2 and quarter 3.
It has, though. I'm interested in how it looks with Porzingis on the floor now.
Washington going into the post against White, attacking aggressively. Porzingis is in, and Washington missed it. Goes back for the tip, and he's hit on the arm. I'm not sure whether that's going to be White or Porzingis.
I think they're counting the basket here, too.
Are they?
Let's see. I thought I saw the ref make the signal.
I didn't see much to count.
No, maybe I just misread it. No, I misread it. Then I saw the 2 free throw signal.
So Washington, I think, has come out much more aggressively here. He had a miserable first half, and he's been a lot better. So I am interested to see, is Boston going to be able to respond to keep this a comfortable win? Or are they gonna lead as Washington does make that free throw off a potential lane violation? Or are we going to be, are we going to feel like, okay, Boston controlled this, they had a little blip in the third? Or is it going to be like, Dallas figured something out after that first quarter? And we're going to get lively with the hold here. That's the other thing too, Danny, is Dallas is just playing way more physically defensively here in the third, just trying to deny, make all these cuts tough, all these passes tough. Like they've really upped the pressure.
And that could make a difference against Boston. I talked about the athleticism difference in the first half. It hasn't been as present here in the third.
Oh, Tatum with the nice move. Again, that's his best move. That little just like face the back of the goal and pivot and go quickly. Like that's the one time he actually goes fast. White switching on to Luka. Good contest. Didn't matter. Off the back rim and down for Luka Doncic. And it's down to 13 here. And Doncic, I think, what does he have? 7 in the period now? He's up to 24. Porzingis tried to draw that same foul. The refs weren't biting that time. Tatum again, just holding the ball. Let's wait until all three guys get over here first. Now he moves it. Good pass. Missed three. White tried to take it away from Luka, and now they're not going to be matched up. Jones, good job by White switching on him. Jones out of control. Stopped by Tatum. Lively first to the ball. Three from Irving off the heel, and Holiday recovers. And that's another. Lively can't afford these little chippies here.
That is Derek Lively's third foul in 11 minutes. And I really liked on the play before that how quickly not only Lively reacted to the rebound, but then he made the pass out to Kyrie instantly. So it generated a great shot.
Yeah, that could have cut it to 10. And Mavs have actually had some open looks here to make this even worse for Boston in this quarter. So, yeah, Lively is being so physical with Porzingis. They called one foul, and they're not going to call it again. Now Porzingis in the post off the switch against Luka. Luka right in his grill. And he took it away from him. Here's Doncic on the push. Porzingis running it down from behind. Tatum picking up Luka. Blows by him again. That's the right kick out. And Irving a little slow making the next reaction. He'll drive on White. Goes to the tough fadeaway over Porzingis and drains it down to 11.
And I think Boston need to establish this more on the offensive end. Dallas has played good, much better defense.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to say this, but I was not buying that Porzingis was just going to, that those plays were that effective for them. He made a few. Here's another quick three. Holiday is bothered, and then a shove from behind by White on Washington. Holiday had to shoot that a little bit faster. But Porzingis, the quality of shots that he got on those 4-4 mid-rangers in the first, I wasn't buying that as some incredible offense for Boston.
It was more shot making than quality offense.
Yeah, I mean, I stick with my analysis that I did at the beginning of April. Here's Doncic firing. They go under on him. Oh, baby.
Here we go. Out.
Another timeout from Missoula as Boston now really struggling to score themselves. It's 22-9 in this quarter. And we have ourselves a ball game, ladies and gentlemen.
And Jaylen Brown will get used to. I think he went off of that screen with too little urgency. I don't think he expected Luka to pull up there. First of all, you need to play with that urgency just because it's the NBA Finals. But also, that is a shot Luka is extremely comfortable taking. So behave accordingly. And part of what I love about the NBA playoffs is that you get enough time to make those adjustments. From Bismarck, were players at a terrible disadvantage CBA-wise in the late 80s, mid-90s? It was a smaller pie to divvy up, so that meant a lot of different kinds of sacrifices and tensions. But one other element that was important to remember in that era is that there wasn't a rookie scale. And so the proportion of money that went to younger players was much higher then. There is an argument that is a better or worse thing. I mean, players will of course have different
rookies were better then too. Most of them were seniors coming.
Yes, in. And so the rookie scale didn't come in until a little bit later in the process, and so the overall pie was different, and the distribution of that pie was different, and there was and also of course player empowerment was at a very different place then, and also as you brought up with guys coming into the league a little bit later. Now, the rookie scale not being in play, that meant things were a little bit different there, is that kind of when players had the opportunity to change teams, that timeline was different then too.
If you're really interested in this, I have the book right behind me here. It's a pretty good nerd book, The Cap, by a guy named Joshua Mendelson. Basically talks about how all the CBA negotiations that led to the cap being implemented in 1983. Adjustments the Mavs have made this quarter. The play better adjustment is the biggest one,
and more physical.
Yeah. I mean that's part of playing better, I guess, right?
Sure.
So just Porzingis, Lively is not letting him move. He doesn't love physicality. That's his reputation. Luka has just been more aggressive as well. particularly when Porzingis wasn't on the floor getting the basket. They've been running more in part because they're getting more stops. Boston has missed some threes. And also the switching, too, has just been way more effective than it was in the first. And they're not giving up anything in transition either.
And we got this in the comments. Luka, the Mavs are outscoring the Celtics overall in this game now when he's on the floor. They're +3 in his minutes, and in a game that they're still trailing in by 8. Porzingis has not taken a shot in the second half. Correct. He was 7 of 9 in the first, and
his one attack. Luka took the ball from him. Yeah, so this is, I think that this game so far, I feel pretty decent about my theory of the Mavs offense, like, going to be okay in this series. But it really coming down to what the Mavs defense does against the Celtics. Washington, again, getting into a stance. Tatum wants to go at Luka. He's going to back off. He's going to dribble 85 times. He does get into the lane now. At Lively, that should be a foul on Lively. I thought he traveled too. Yeah. Yeah, Lively there. He's not jumping straight up. His body is turned on this drive. And then, yeah, he certainly does travel in the end, lifting up that left foot. Yep, there it is right there.
And I'm happy they called the travel instead of like an offensive foul. That wasn't a foul. Maybe a defensive foul. It was a defensive foul before that.
Here's Braun going at Luka. Can't get around him. You see the Mavs are at the elbows. Here's Braun going in, and that will be a foul on Lively, and that's his fourth. That's a big play.
And I liked that aggressiveness. Jaylen Brown, the initial action slowed down by Luka, kept on pushing, and Lively. I thought Lively was actually relatively close to Oh no, the left arm. The right arm was. I saw the right arm, and I thought he was close to vertical, but the left arm is not even close. Yeah, that's absolutely the correct call.
So, and that's also an example of just how valuable that 5-out spacing is compared to, say, what Minnesota had in the previous round, where Braun, he gets cut off the first time by Luka. Pretty good defense, but then he could just go back the other way, and Kleba does go for a dig, but he's not actually there. He's not giving real help, and Braun can turn the corner. Another missed free throw by Braun.
He's missed 3 already.
So they've got Holiday now picking up Luka, and Braun is on Kyrie. They've switched up the matchups. Going to screen away here for Kyrie with Lively. Now he goes into the screen. Kyrie into the lane. Almost traveled. I thought he did travel. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he lifted that left foot up. That's a good call. And now that was the presence of Porzingis that time. Yeah, watch the left foot. He spins. Yep. Moved it by a foot. Now Tatum trying to push up on Washington, who's looking to pressure him. Tatum perilously close to the midcourt line. Tatum getting past Lively into the lane. Kicks out. Porzingis has all day. Missed it short. Tatum has the rebound. Down the lane. Porzingis for the dunk as Lively went flying down on the contest and never got back into the play.
And I want to give Tatum credit for attacking better on that possession. He was still a little slower than I wanted, but that was the right approach.
I'm liking what he's doing. Yeah, he's looking to drive and kick out. Speaking of a good shot there, but Irving missed it again. He's had his looks against the drop coverage. They're willing to play drop coverage against Irving, maybe a little less so against Doncic. Tatum again against Lively. Crosses over, gets into the lane. Had Braun open underneath. Now Braun on the drive. Steps around Lively, and that should be his fifth, and it is. Obvious foul.
And Lively's...
I mean, it's like he's got his arms forward at a 45-degree angle. What is he talking about? It's obvious.
Yeah,
and he's not in front of him either. Look at this. Yeah, he's moving forward.
Why are you angry about that call?
That's the most obvious foul of the game.
Like, he swung his right arm and hit Jaylen Brown, who was in a shooting motion.
And that was, again, this is looking really good here. And we're seeing Tim Hardaway Jr. for the first time, interestingly. And that, I think they should go at him pretty remorselessly. So I presume this is now Kleba at center, Lively being replaced. Porzingis is going to sit down as well. Yeah, it does really seem like Missoula is trying to match up Porzingis with Lively, but I'll give Tatum a lot of credit. He's really stabilized things with his ability to get by Lively, force a bunch of help from the Mavs. I would say maybe even the Mavs are over helping right now. Here's Doncic throwing it up for Jones. Good play by Brown to knock that away. Holiday on the closeout. Hardaway Jr. fresh into the game. Jones. Oh, what a block!
Jalen.
Jalen Brown. He put it back in his face. Horford will fire a huge three. Not even close. Probably had someone open the court. That was an illegal screen by Jones. Here's Doncic. Tough fading three. Even that is not a great shot. Hauser flies in for the rebound. Boston has restored order here, particularly on defense. Now they should go after Horford here with Brown. Or sorry, go after Luka here with Brown. That's what they're going to do. Brown getting past him into the lane, kicks out. Wide open three coming for Tatum. And Boston totally back in control now. Really impressive response here offensively from the Celtics.
Got back to what they were doing. Find the mismatch, hunt the mismatch, create the opportunity. And if you can get the shot there, do it. Otherwise, keep the churn going, get a good look.
Yeah, it's really been impressive because they have the spacing that they have. I mean, I think that Dallas should probably start to give a little bit more gap help than they have been on some of these plays. Or I think the other thing they should do, I don't know if Luka can do this, but certainly Lively. I like the way that the Celtics have kind of used that Mavericks pressure against them to get by them. And I think Lively should be in a more contained situation. Obviously, he's out now on Tatum and, let Tatum shoot a three over him contested with that big wingspan. But this has been very impressive by Boston, breaking the paint. If the score is there, it's there. If not, they're finding guys open for threes.
I like the point that Naveed made on YouTube about the Celtics team. At times, it's like the arguments that we used to have years ago about whether Paul George could be the best player in the championship. And it's like, well, if you had three Paul Georges, then he probably could. And it's because you get just the benefits that you get from that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we might see. We might be 2 weeks away from Jason Tatum being the best player in the championship team.
Yeah, look at this play. Brown stops Jones Jr. once, and then he's going to come. He's not known for his help defense either. I mean, that is a former dunk champion right there, and Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And
Jalen Brown could do a painted picture of that. Give it to Derek Jones Jr. That'd be funny.
Yeah, so a great response here by Boston on both ends. And now Doncic will start off guarded by Holiday along the baseline. Irving is out. They screen for Doncic. Brown should have switched onto him. He doesn't. And now they're going to get a wide open three if they miss it. Yeah, Dallas has had some chances here with some open threes in the third that could have made things a lot more interesting. Almost threw it behind Horford. Now they get Tatum with Washington switched on. They want to involve Luka in the screening action. Again, Tatum rejects it, kicks out. Hauser lets it goes out of bounds. They have 7 to shoot now.
And we'll see what Joe Mazzulla's like 8th best sideline out of bounds play is. But Dallas overall, they are shooting about 35-36% from three. So sorry, they're at 23. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. Apologies. Dallas is 5 of 21. So yeah, that is something that could have been better.
Doncic will sit down. Irving replaces him. And they also now have Gafford in the game. I want to see what they're going to do defensively with Gafford. They're going to switch with him. There's Brown. Oh, great pass to the corner, Horford. And he does cash that out, and it's back to 19. That's one of the better passes I've seen from Brown. Now Irving getting past Holiday. Goes in. Brown again! What a rejection! This is one of the best stretches I've seen from him defensively, too. He's not known for his help defense. They usually deploy him more as an on-ball stopper. He's guarding Gafford right now, and he comes over and just erases Irving.
Kyrie Irving's line for the contest, 6 of 18 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah, and he's had good looks from 3, too. Trying to get Gafford at the elbow, bring Hardaway Jr. off the screen. Backdoor Irving. Can't finish. Good reaction by Horford, but will stay here, I believe.
Should be Mavs.
Going to go the other way.
That looks like Mavs ball to me.
I thought it was, but apparently not.
Rick Carlisle will file a protest with the league. Big market bias.
2 for 1 here for Boston. See if they can do better than they did at the end of the first half. Gafford trying to stay out of the pick and roll. And instead, they're going to give up a 3. That is massive. Really nice job there by Boston, knowing that they wanted to keep Gafford out of the pick and roll. They set a screen. He tried to communicate that someone else should go out. And then once he got switched on to Hauser, he gets in there to set the screen, and Brown is able to hit it against Gafford. Now Hardaway Jr. switched on to by Horford, 7 to shoot. Hardaway Jr. impossible shot, air ball, and they're going to get a foul over the back of Gafford, who's done well in the offensive glass in this.
But I believe, what are they calling here? Because I thought that would be in the rebounding action.
Yeah, I think Gafford got hit over his back as he was going for the tip in.
Oh, so they're calling this. Okay. Yeah. So because it was on the tip.
And Gafford does rim it in.
And if they're calling, and I support this, if they're calling fouls on tip-ins as shooting fouls, the league needs to reclassify catching and finishing an alley-oop as a shooting foul as well.
Absolutely.
It's just it's low-hanging fruit that they can do. And I mean, yes, the league is favoring offensive players more now than you could argue shit, but it's unreasonable that fouling in that circumstance creates such a big benefit for the defense, especially because alley-oops are awesome.
Gafford, 2 of 2 from the line, finally breaking that Boston run. Tatum is back in, guarded by Jones. They go to defensive subs here. Tatum getting by Jones, kicks it out. Hauser moving it. Brown is going to go in on Gafford. No foul, and that'll do it for what ended up being only a 1-point Dallas advantage here in the third. They got it as close as 8 at one point.
Yeah, and then a big push from the Celtics. It looked like their offense was a lot healthier, and presumably we'll see more Porzingis in the fourth, but it'll be an open question.
Yeah, let's catch up on some of the stats here.
So I wanted to look at Dallas's shot chart for the third quarter, and you could see some of their the overall health of their offense in that. They took 10 shots in the restricted area just in the third quarter, 5 of 10 there. You would like to make a couple more. 1 of 4 from the upper paint, 1 of 3 from mid-range, 2 of 8 on above the break threes, and 0 corner 3 attempts in the game. The Dallas Mavericks have 1 corner 3 attempt.
Yeah, and Luka is the ultimate corner 3 generator.
And the overall stats, though, on Dallas's offense for the full game, 94 offensive rating, 76 first shot half-court offensive rating, 80 transition offensive rating, including a 50 off of live rebounds.
Yeah, and really it was Dallas's offense that failed them again. They were right back into it. And then what did that end up being for a run? It was like 14-0?
Let's see if I can get it.
Yeah, I think it was 72-64. Yeah, 14-0.
Yeah, 14-0.
And they just they weren't able to score. Now Boston really picked up the defense during that period, but they all Luka missed an open 3, Kyrie missed an open 1, but I mean they haven't exceeded 24 points in any quarter yet. Mihaliuk over under 1.5 minutes. I'm gonna say over.
Over.
Yeah.
Is Porzingis not the top scorer of the game? Oh no, he 100% is.
I disagree.
Really?
Well, I mean, if you he had a dominant stretch in what enabled them to take the lead, but the way that I analyze the game, which is more about what's going to work and not work going forward, and what's my level of confidence and all these things. Are certain guys affecting the strategy? I thought that his little jag there was very important, and obviously the fact that he's back and playing well is important. But I thought that much more impactful to me is the way that Boston was able to blow by these switches and generate very good looks for themselves.
That's fair. But for me, part of it, I'm not indexing as much on Porzingis' offense as his defense. I mean, we saw how disruptive he was as a rim protector and deterrent.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, Boston overall 8 block shots in this game.
And so for me, the best versions of Boston involved Kristaps Porzingis. And so one of the reasons I was concerned about Boston in the series was what Porzingis are we going to see? And we haven't, he hasn't been like physically tested in some of the ways, but that's part of the benefit of being 7'3" is that you don't have to, fly out there on a switch or anything like that. But even if the shots don't fall at the same rate, he can still be an important part of their rotation. And that really raises the floor and the ceiling for the Celtics.
Yeah, James noting that Luke only has 1 assist right now. So Porzingis is back in, as is White, who got a long rest. Here's Brown spinning past Kleber easily again. And they are just continuing to just beat the Dallas Mavericks one-on-one. It was one of the big questions about this Celtics team. If teams switch on them, what do they have that they can do? And they're just going right by their man. Now Luka goes right into Porzingis, goes to Jones. 8 to shoot. Kyrie working on Porzingis. White stays with him. Jones. Oh, and he stopped again. Porzingis that time. That did hit the rim. They get a reset. Here's Washington finishing nicely against Tatum. And I thought Porzingis could have helped more on that one.
Yeah, I think he kind of thought he'd done his work on Derrick Jones, didn't respond as much.
And here is White going to get fouled.
And Nate, as HA noted, the Dallas Mavericks have 6 total assists in this game.
I mean, that's got to be on pace for the lowest in NBA Finals history. What's the lowest in any game by a team this year?
I will try to pull both of those at time.
I mean, I would guess they are. I mean, that would be on pace. They're on pace for 8. Tatum now guarded by Kleber. Tatum stepping back right, late clock, and that rims out. Not very good process that time for Boston. Luka against the drop coverage of Porzingis. Into the lane, tries to fight it up, and he scores, man. That guy is really good. And you can see, like, that's playing the pick and roll 1-on-2. Jones is just standing at the arc waiting for it, and Luka's like, no, I'm going to just score on both Braun and Porzingis.
Fewest
relatively
assists.
Minimal. No, he does jump into him. Excuse me. That was a good call.
It's the right call. Fewest assists in a game this season, 11. Sixers against the Warriors in January, and now I'll start trying to pull the finals game thing.
It would be, they're on pace for the record. I would be shocked if they weren't. Here's Tatum again. He loves that little back to goal spin move, but good work there by Jones coming over to provide additional help. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Tatum's biomechanics where when his back is to goal and he can like push off and spin, he just is so much faster than in any other move. White coming off the screen. He'll use Porzingis now. They keep him on the side. White switched onto by Kleber. They get it to Porzingis. No, don't get it to him. This is way too slow. Holiday tried to move to the free throw line. That was the right cut, but the pass was bad. Here's Jones going at Pritchard. White coming over, and he forces a miss. Tipped around. Porzingis has it. White, great defense. The rim protection of the Celtics has been one of the biggest stories. Porzingis blowing by Kleber into the lane. He goes for the pull-up, left it short. He's not really great at those off-the-dribble pull-ups at speed. Luka trying to work on Pritchard. Double team comes. White is there. Luka, not really an incisive pass, and they're back in good order. Now Luka will work on White. Let's see if Tatum comes to help here. He does. Luka steps through. He's blocked, but I think they're going to get Tatum on the little reach-in foul as Luka went through his arms.
Okay, Nate, the modern NBA low for assists in a finals game is 8.
Oh, I think I know the game. It was game 3 of the 1998 NBA Finals.
It is game 2 of the 99 finals. So
that finals never happened.
Yeah. the final score of that game, Spurs 80, Knicks 67.
I was sure it would be because I think that game that I referenced was like 96-54.
And so that game, the Knicks shot 2 of 14 from 3, 27 of 82 from the field.
Oh, I don't know about that. They should challenge this. I thought that was off of Boston. No, they do change it. Lively back in with the 5 fouls. I approve of this decision. Doncic gets Pritchard switched onto him. Goes for the step back. Not much of a contest. Good box out by Porzingis on Lively there and able to Holiday to get the rebound. Holiday crossing over, working on Washington, just goes right through him, steps through. Oh, beautiful footwork. I mean, that Drew Holiday's 6'4" and PJ Washington 6'10". Here's Jones. He'll throw it up to Lively, and it's knocked away somehow by Pritchard, but he was on the end line as he tried to recover.
And Jason Tatum there had the right idea, but about a second and a half too late. And by still reacting, he ended up giving up a better shot, but they were able to mitigate.
Yeah, that's fantastic footwork. And like his core strength is so strong. Porzingis wasn't even paying attention, but Washington missed the corner 3. No wonder they don't have any assists. Now Holiday against Doncic. Porzingis sets the screen. Going to try to post Porzingis on Luka. I still don't think this is an advantage matchup. He just shoots over him. Yeah, I mean, like the Dallas Mavericks will absolutely live with that shot. Like Porzingis is not getting close enough on these. Lively going to set the screen. They pre-switch it. Double teamed, and another time they've picked Luka's dribble. The 4th time here. White goes in easily, and it's back to 21. Timeout, Jason Kidd. That was beautiful defense again by the Celtics. They pre-switch Pritchard to get Porzingis out of the action. Luka attacks him. White, though, surprises him by staying with the dribble. They're not worried about Derek Jones Jr. on the pick and pop, so White can just go after him. And that, again, I mean, that's crazy. How many times have we ever seen Luka Doncic just get his dribble taken from him 4 times like this?
It's surprising. Nate, because I know you'll appreciate it. In that game when the Jazz scored 54 points, that 96-54, they actually had 16 assists.
Yeah, I guess the Jazz were always a high assist team.
And that wasn't even with Utah.
How many field goals did they? They probably had like 16 assists.
21.
Like 21 field goals. That's hilarious.
Yeah. They had 21 made field goals and 26 turnovers.
Thomas notes that Jones, Lively, and I don't know who the next guy is there, don't look as good at as versus the Wolves. I guess Washington is the
PJ
other guy
Washington
mentioning. Oh, PJ, yeah. So yes, I think part of that is that the Celtics are making them do stuff that they're a little more uncomfortable with, as far as having to be the roll man more often and trying to finish at the rim over a lot of length in Porzingis. And it's worked. Like those guys just haven't been able to be as devastating as the roll man. And it's just much easier for Boston to defend. And then, Boston's been taking advantage of neither of those guys. I think they've hit one above the break 3 between
that's
three.
Well, part of the story. So I brought this up so much over the course of the playoffs. Washington, Jones, and then Josh Green, and it would be Exum, but Exum hasn't played in this game. They've taken a combined 5 3-pointers in this game. They're just not conceding them. Oh, and there's Celtics legend Shaquille O'Neal. What do you think about getting the ball to Doncic with more off-ball action in game 2? It is an adjustment they could go to. I think Boston could adjust to that relatively quickly, but Luka, like James Harden, it's another parallel. The Luka is not as extreme on this as Harden. Not the greatest off-ball mover, not the greatest dealing with ball denials.
Yeah, I mean, he's better at it than Harden, but
Everyone
Doncic is an on-ball guy. Like I wouldn't mind trying to post him a little bit more. Like, I think that's the sort of thing that could be a little more difficult for some of Boston's help concepts to deal with. But I mean, he's mostly an on-ball player. Here's another stat for you, Danny. Part of why Doncic has 1 assist is rest of team, other than Luka, has one made three.
Yeah, they're 1 of 13. No, 1 of 11. Apologies. I gave them 2 extra misses. Maybe those will be coming.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Like Luka's taken more than half their threes. I mean, other than the turnovers, I think he hasn't been bad. I mean, he hasn't been like so dominant, right? Like they've gotten away with switching anybody except Porzingis onto him, and even him at times. And
Well, and offensively, I think
Yeah.
I think the Celtics have done a pretty good job, and they could even do better in game 2 attacking him defensively. But
yeah,
offensively,
he has a history of having these shitty games and then like getting it together on defense. He hasn't been like so atrocious necessarily, but he has been beaten eventually. And part of it's really more the spacing. He's used to having just much more behind him. There's Washington. They want to go after Pritchard after Washington set the back screen. There's Luka again. They see the way Holiday helps off of Washington, and Luka doesn't want to throw it to him up there. Like that's how they're keeping him away from the rim. It's not the rim protection. It's these perimeter guys coming off of a Washington or a Jones up top. There's another blow by Tatum. Oh, nice pass underneath, but Holiday flubbed it. Beautiful look there by Jason Tatum.
did Holiday think there was a pass there, or did he just short arm?
I think it just slipped out of his hands. Irving, I thought he carried there. Horford switched onto him. Holiday again is lurking. Irving goes down again, gets into the lane, kicks out, almost traveled again. Here's a drive by Washington into nobody. Tipped around. They have it back still. What a weird possession this is, and they're going to score on it.
Kyrie Irving really turned the ball over 4 times there. None of them happened.
Washington, his part of it wasn't too pretty either.
And another unassisted basket.
Back to 19 here. Celtics very slow getting into things. Tatum has Kyrie on him. Now Pritchard will set the screen. Pritchard rolls out there. No spacing here for the Celtics. Tatum just trying to back down, goes for the tough shot and makes it. Again, not great process. You almost want him to miss that so he doesn't do it again. And I don't mind that shot if it's a little bit closer. Underneath Lively, and that's his first bucket of the game.
7th assist. Record, and the record is in less danger now.
Yeah, Boston taking forever to get into stuff here at this point. But they've got Green on Tatum. Tatum, pressured by Green, goes to the same shot he just took. Not even close. Holiday gets inside. Here's Tatum on the drive, scoops it up. Horford there to clean up easily.
And that seemed like one of those plays where Tatum was open to the idea that was going to be offensive rebound. It's like a quasi assist.
Yeah, I mean, he probably should have made the pass, honestly, but here's the lob up for Lively. Holiday is there, and Holiday reaches in. He'll pick up the foul, and Lively will get a couple of free throws. Just going to take a few notes here for the pod.
Dallas does so. Both teams 27-28 offensive rebound rate, 27% for Dallas, 28 for Boston. That'll be something to watch. Of course, at different games in the series, there could be some ebbs and flows in that respect.
Lively misses that one. He's 0 for 2 from the foul line. And if Boston scores here, I think we can turn it off.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
A lot of drama for you guys.
Reminder that we will be doing a YouTube live show after this, but I think we'll probably wait until the game is actually over.
I would assume so. There's Horford going into Lively. That could have been Lively's 6th. Here's Holiday, and we'll see you on Sunday night, at least on this show, or in about 30 minutes for a YouTube live to discuss it. Okay, talk to y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.